There are three important home games for the Arizona Cardinals in 2022 that are more important than the others. I'm going to break them down.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in. Alex Clancy here, Locked On Cardinals. Follow me on Twitter at Clancy's Corner. Follow the podcast at Locked On AZ Cards. We're getting closer, man. Baltimore Sunday night. And then we got one more game, and then regular season starts in 27, 26 days. This is the time where camp's starting to, round together. The Cardinals wore their black helmets yesterday. I think that's the biggest story out of camp. Hollywood Brown and Kyler Murray played a little pitch and catch, Rondell Moore, etc. And as I've reiterated this offseason, camp hasn't really been full of storylines. The storylines happened before camp. Sure, Antonio Hamilton has emerged, Benjamin has emerged, but these guys aren't going to be the reasons why the Cardinals win and or lose games. Those players are already in place. All the hard, heavy lifting was done this offseason. Sure, there was some other stuff that went on, and we've talked about it a lot. Kyler's contract, Hollywood Brown injury, Hollywood Brown getting pulled over, DeAndre Hopkins suspension, things like that. But, camp-wise, there hasn't really been a whole lot. And sure, I could break down, there was a great route that was run by Hollywood Brown in camp. I don't think that's as important as the big storylines going into 2022, because it seems like, and we've talked about this a lot, and if not, thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen. If this is your first listen to Locked On Cardinals, thank you very much. If this is your second this week, thank you. And if you've been with me for years, thank you very much. I'm here. This is a lot of fun, and I really appreciate everybody who joins along this journey with me. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Turn the notifications on. I'll be doing a show every halftime of every game. Started this past Friday with the Bengals game, and I'm going to go all the way through Week 18. I don't think it's as important to discuss who ran a good route in camp as it is looking at the 2022 season as a whole. And the reason for that is the roster set. Steve Keim's plan has been executed. He's going to rely on the young guys that he drafted, Isaiah Simmons, David Collins, Lucky Fulcher, Rashad Lawrence, Byron Murphy, Marco Wilson. And he's gonna load the hell out of the offense with veteran-laden guys, and that's how they're going to roll. So the starters are pretty much in place, even though I think the defense especially is not even close to as deep enough to get through the rigors of a 17-game, 18-week season. I just don't. But you got to make your peace with it at some point. Otherwise, the definition of insanity will continue to pump through people's veins, which is how Steve Keim operates. So I choose to say, you know what? Yeah, cool, deep ball in camp. It doesn't matter, in my opinion. It's set. People's mindsets should be looking towards week one, because obviously camp is just for people to get acclimated with the playbook who haven't been on the team before, to get reps. But this is Isaiah Simmons, David Collins' show on defense. Whether we think that's the right call or not, it's going to be. So I'm looking at big picture. The third most important home game for the Arizona Cardinals in 2022 is week one against Kansas City. Now, you could say this is the most important. This is not one of the top three important, but I think it's the most important, or the third most important, for a couple reasons. One, it's a true litmus test for the offseason. Now, what we saw in Tennessee last year, what we saw the year before, is that Cliff Kingsbury is very good at coaching week one games. Even his debut was a terrible first half. Then Kyler Murray put the team on his shoulders, got Detroit to overtime, and it was a Tremaine Brock ball off the chest plate on the Detroit side of the ball the Detroit side of the field for the Cardinals to have one of the more improbable comebacks, especially for a rookie's first game. But last year, the Cardinals blew the roof off Tennessee, and, that kind of sparked the first half bonanza that was the Cardinals going 7-0 and 10-2. So it's kind of like the first or the last preseason game. So it's a weird dynamic. Kansas City's got a lot of new pieces. Juju Smith-Schuster, Ronald Jones, Tyreek Hill's gone, MVS is here, MVS is there. Like, they're a team that's retooling their offense, and they're coming to State Farm Stadium week 1, afternoon kickoff. The Cardinals are 3-point dogs, I believe, at this point. But you look at all the stuff that's happened this offseason, and you look at one of the perennially best teams in the NFL since 2018, or even before that, but 2018 when Patrick Mahomes started taking snaps. It's like, well, this is your litmus test right away. The Band-Aid is going to get ripped off right away. If Kansas City puts up a 40-burger, you're looking at this season like, oh, this defense may be a bottom third defense. But if the Cardinals put up 35, it's like, if a lot of points are scored in this game, it can tell a lot more than if the Cardinals get blown out 40-17, or if the Cardinals win 31-17. It's like there's so many different ways you could look at this game when the outcome is upon us. And I think that the third most important home game for the Cardinals this year is Kansas City, because of the true litmus test of the Band-Aid getting ripped off. And also, what is Kyler Murray going to come out and do week 1? Against one of the not top 5 defenses, still has Chris Jones, okay? They still got a pass rush. They still got an up-and-coming secondary. And you're playing against Patrick Mahomes. The best defense for an opposing top-tier quarterback are sustained offensive drives. And that is a 3-word phrase that the Cardinals have struggled with from time to time since Cliff Kingsbury came in and became head coach. A lot of 45-second 3-and-outs. A lot of minute-and-a-half 3-and-outs. And if you're going to give this defense a chance in 2022, long, sustained drives are going to be 3 words in the English language strung together that will be just Christmas every time you hear it. The third most important home game for the Arizona Cardinals comes right off the bat. Kansas City, week 1. What's the second most important? What's the first most important home game in 2022 for the Cardinals? I'm going to tell you about it in the next 2 segments. Alex Clancy, Locked On Cardinals. Next. First, Athletic Greens, okay? AG1 is something that I didn't know that I needed, okay? Our next partner has a product that I use pretty much every day, okay? I haven't been the most healthiest. I wasn't, with eating, and now I've gotten a lot better. And then Athletic Greens came on and became a sponsor. I'm like, oh, what is this about? I've got it sitting right over there. What's this about? Okay. 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. 1 scoop, water, 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. Okay? It's lifestyle friendly. I've been trying a bunch of different diets. I don't know, keto. My dad does intermittent fasting. I've tried that. Like, Athletic Greens helps with all of it. Okay? It's lifestyle friendly. Whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free, contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals or artificial anything, while still tasting good, which sounds crazy, but it's true. It supports better sleep quality and recovery, supports mental clarity and alertness. It's the one thing with the best things. Athletic Greens uses the best of the best products based on the latest science with constant product iterations and third-party testing. Athletic Greens has over 7,000 5-star reviews. It's recommended by professional athletes. It's trusted by leading health experts such as Tim Ferriss and Michael Gervais. Do I need to tell you any more? Okay. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NFL Network. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/NFL Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. The Arizona Cardinals schedule is it's got 3 or 4 different faces. Starts with a murderer's row, Kansas City at home, Vegas on the road, Rams at home. Then there are about 5 or 6 winnable games, and then murderer's row, then bye week, then kind of potpourri after week 13 when they come back in week 14. Third most important home game for the Arizona Cardinals in 2022 is the Kansas City Chiefs. What about the road games, Alex? I'm glad you asked. I'm going to be running down the 3 most important road games for the Arizona Cardinals on tomorrow's podcast, okay? Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen each and every day. Hang out with me. Follow me on Twitter at Clancy's Corner. Send me a DM if you want to hear other topics that I'm not hitting. If you want to give me your opinion, whatever. I'm here to chat. And subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Thank you for that. Growing that faster than ever. I will be doing a halftime show every halftime of every game from now through week 18. So join me. Bring your questions, bring your comments. We'll interact for 10 or 15 minutes between the second and third quarter. It'll be fun all year, regardless of outcome. I'm just excited to chat with everybody. The second most important Cardinals game at home in 2022 is week 14 coming off a bye against the New England Patriots. And you say, Alex, that's weird. I mean, there's 12 games or 11 games in between that for the Cardinals. Are there not any more important games than that? I mean, they have Philly at home. They have the Saints at home. They have the Seahawks at home. They have the Chargers at home right before the bye week. And I was thinking, is it the Chargers? Are we just doing the toughest games at home for the Cardinals? No. It's New England Patriots because say the Cardinals go 8-5 or 8-4. Okay, going into the bye, which is definitely feasible. And I promise I will be doing a full final win-loss prediction breakdown before the regular season starts. But I have the Cardinals going 11-6, okay? And I have them winning 8 games, I believe, before their bye week in week 13. So say they go 8-4, okay? And then after their bye week, they have New England at home, Broncos on the road, Tampa Bay at home, Atlanta on the road, and San Francisco on the road. So they play Denver in cold weather, Atlanta 2 weeks before the season ends, and then the San Francisco 49ers on the road. And they don't get a home game against San Francisco, remember, because that's at Azteca Stadium in Mexico City. Why is it New England? Because it's Bill Belichick. And because this is a mental toughness game. Say the Cardinals are 8-4, and they're in line for maybe the division crown or maybe the 5 or 6 seed in the playoffs at that point. When they need a win, they haven't been able to get one. And I'm sorry if that's I'm not sorry that they haven't been able to get a win when they absolutely need one. See the second half of last season. The trajectory and storyline surrounding this organization can 100% be shifted in 2022. I've talked about it all offseason. They have the chance to rewrite the history of this organization starting this year. They're going to get all the opportunities. The offense is supposed to be top 5, okay? Cliff Kingsbury, Steve Keim, Kyler Murray all got their contract extensions. This is supposed to be the future. And it starts this year. And it starts after the bye week with New England because Bill Belichick doesn't care about anything. He will go in and he will win games. He will go in and he will win games. What was it? They beat Buffalo on the road and Mac Jones threw the ball 3 times. It doesn't matter to him. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter how good your offense is. Doesn't matter how good your coaching is. Doesn't matter how good your defense is. It's Bill Belichick. And he will test your mental toughness more than any other coach in the NFL. 2 years ago, they went to New England and played one of their worst games. And then that was the Isaiah Simmons hit on Cam Newton that was a 15-yard penalty that sparked a Nick Folk super long field goal that the Cardinals lost the game because of. And I still give Isaiah Simmons credit for that hit because it was a monster hit against one of the bigger quarterbacks we've ever seen. But New England, mental toughness, it's one and the same. And if you're mentally weak, if you're not prepared, if you're not ready for a pounded out, just tough match, you're going to lose. Doesn't matter if it's at home or on the road. This is what Bill Belichick does. He's an institution at this point. And I'm not comparing Mac Jones to Tom Brady, please. But they have a very good run attack. Their defense is better this year. And, I mean, they've got a couple weapons now. So, the second most important game for the Arizona Cardinals, that they play at home in 2022, is the New England Patriots. Week one against Kansas City. The third most important was a litmus test. It was to see where do the Cardinals stack up against one of the better offenses we've seen in the last 20 years. And that's more about the defense than the offense. But it's also, they've got all this offensive firepower. Now, what can they do against another good offense and see what the Cardinals defense can do against that said great offense? And then mental toughness in week 14. What can the Cardinals do against Bill Belichick? When they need a victory. You need victories after your bye week, especially because it's so late. You have to wait 13 weeks, hopefully meander around major injuries. I mean, that's a long time. 13 games before or 12 games before a bye that's a long time. And then to see if they can get a victory when they absolutely need it, when they haven't been able to in recent memory. That's number 2. What is the most important home game for the Arizona Cardinals in 2022? I'm going to talk about it. And it's going to be sweet. Next, Locked On Cardinals. First, you've heard the term Elias, right? Elias, Sports Bureau, etc. It's almost the start of the NFL season, and this time of year, I mean, come on. You see me, I'm giddy. I'm giddy all the time. And if you're into sports betting or fantasy, you need a competitive edge to win. That's why I highly recommend the Elias Game Plan app. It's the ultimate sports betting and fantasy companion for the NFL, NBA, and MLB. Elias Game Plan is the only sports app from the most trusted name in sports stats, the Elias Sports Bureau, the official statistician of U.S. pro sports leagues, including the NFL. And their app lets you get access to team and player stats, head-to-head team comparisons, and Elias insights from the Elias Sports Bureau's research team. This app really is your one-stop source, okay? It's your one-stop source for player news, expert game analysis for betting, building your fantasy team, impressing friends. It's perfect for the preseason. You get player previews to help you draft a winning fantasy team and team previews so you know what to expect as the regular season kicks off. Okay, take my advice. Download the Elias Game Plan app today with new features available all the time. Take your game to the next level. NFL season is right around the corner, so don't wait. Find Elias Game Plan in your App Store or Play Store today. And I've talked about this a lot, and I'm going to continue to talk about it. Cookie dough chunk puffs, okay? Built Bar is the Hail Murray of protein bars. And just picture that all the time and not like just to win a game for a 45-yard pass from Kyler Murray to DeAndre Hopkins. Okay? Puffs, if you haven't heard me talk about Built Bar Puffs yet, they're protein-infused marshmallow. Okay? Built Bar Puffs are 100% covered in chocolate. They're 160 calories only, and they're a whopping 15 grams of protein. Okay? They've got so many flavors. Like, I've tried probably 30 flavors of Built Bars at this point. Cookie dough chunk puff is the featured one now. Like all Built Bars, as I mentioned, 100% covered in chocolate. They're healthy and tasty, and like it doesn't make traditional sense. Just trust that I know what's good for you, especially when it comes to Built Bars. Okay, you're gonna love the new the cookie dough chunk puff. Whether you need a snack for your workout, a late night treat, or just to go grab a quick bite. Built is the perfect protein bar, and they taste better than a candy bar. Ditch the calories, fat, and sugar. Grab yourself a Built Bar. Go to Built.com. Use promo code LOCKEDON15. That's a different promo code from before. LOCKEDON15 and get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKEDON15 for 15% off at Built.com. What are the top 3 most important home games for the Arizona Cardinals in 2022? Number 3, Kansas City Chiefs Week 1. Number 2, Week 14, New England Patriots at home. And number 1, the most important home game for the Arizona Cardinals in 2022 is when TB12 comes to town. Christmas night, Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home, Week 16. Okay? And it's not just, Tom Brady's coming to play. We get to see old Tommy Boy and probably Gronk at that point because he'll come out of hibernation. With 4 out of their last 5 games, I believe. 3 out of their last 4 games on the road. At Denver, and then they have home against Tampa Bay, at Atlanta, and at San Francisco. This game could win the division for the Cardinals. This game could knock the Cardinals out of the playoffs. This game can knock the Cardinals out of the division lead into a wild card spot. This game is so massively important for the Cardinals. And it's Christmas night. We remember what happened last year, Christmas. If you don't, let me remind you. Indianapolis came into town. Pretty much their entire defense was hurt, and the Cardinals got embarrassed and lost at home a game that could have clinched the division, I think, or would have solidified a better playoff spot for them. These types of games are what make teams' seasons or potentially break them. This isn't glorifying. This isn't magnifying. This is Tom Brady at home on Christmas night with the entire NFL watching. Probably a little buzzed with their families. It's kind of like we've had enough family time at this point. It's 6 o'clock. Let's turn on the tube and watch a little pigskin. Everybody will be watching this game, especially if the Arizona Cardinals are an 11-win team or 10-win team or 9-win team at this point. It is going to be so incredibly important that the Cardinals show up to this game. And if the Cardinals can win this game at home in Week 16 against Tom Brady, when the Bucs are either going to be vying for the 1 seed, or if they haven't locked up their division yet, vying to lock up their division. This isn't going to be a throwaway game by any stretch. So if the Cardinals can show up and win at home on Christmas against the greatest player to ever play in the NFL, that would throw a little bit extra gas into the fire of the pivoting of trajectory for this entire organization. And it begins in 2022. Tomorrow, I will talk about the top 3 most important road games for the Cardinals in 2022. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals for your first listen each and every day. I'm Alex Clancy. Follow me on Twitter at Clancy's Corner. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Getting closer and closer to 3,000 subscribers. Tell your friends. Tell your pets. Tell your parents-in-law. Let's grow this thing up, baby. Alex Clancy, Locked On Cardinals. I'll talk to you tomorrow.